Once, I dated a girl for 2 months named Holly Franklin. One time she stopped, right in the middle of having sex, locked herself in the bathroom crying, and used a cordless phone to call the suicide hotline. I know, because I listened in on her roommate's phone. Up until then, she had never expressed any emotion. So after that happened, I just quit calling her. Then a few weeks later, I saw Holly at a party. When I walked in the front door, she was sitting at the bottom of the stairs, looking down, staring at the linoleum floor. And I said, "Hey, Holly," you know, like just to be polite. And she jerked up her head and shirt and stabbed me with her eyes. And she didn't have a bra on, but she had fresh scratches and cuts all over her stomach and breasts, and carved deep into her skin were the words, "I still love you." I didn't know what to do, so I took her upstairs to the bathroom and tried to clean her up. But everyone at the party was snickering and whispering about us. I mean, I didn't want to leave her, but I couldn't stay with her either. So I left alone, with marks of my own, of shame and remorse, forever stamped on my forehead. Real bad, and they got under my shirt real bad. Bite mark, wallpapered skin. So I went around shirtless for 2 years, showing them to any girl who would listen. And somebody got their finger in my asshole, and they still got their finger in my asshole. And you can order $1,000 worth of food, but once they get their finger in your asshole, it means they want to have sex with you, and there's nothing you can do. This finger's been in there so long, my body was tricked into thinking I was pregnant. And Lindsay said, "See, this is how the other half lives." What do you mean, with someone's finger constantly in your asshole? So I tried to pull her tampon out in her sleep, but I almost woke her up. And so I jerked off on her feet, and then snuggled her and cuddled her for a long time before I let eating it when I didn't need to. That's when I bitched the most. My ass forever fragmented into interruption incentives. A type 5 fairly apologetic bent over apologizing for playing with your food. Now listen carefully. I was not malicious wounding, not like they said. I was really just trying to spare her from death, making little cuts with my utility knife on my legs, arms, and chest to keep her from biting me to the bone and leave me, my friends, and my family alone. But I had to keep cutting deeper and deeper to get her to just stop until the cops got there. And my knees collapsed. The detective to my left said, "It's not evil, but you are pretty squeamish for someone who goes around stabbing people." You gotta take it in slow by forcing it instead of letting it flow. Like fist first, exhaling one channel side, then the next nostril. Swear by the magic knife, and the wish that it's true comes true. Whether it's your best friend or your worst enemy, more than anything else, you know what to do. My next door neighbor's got tons of balloons, and I can see him just tied to his fence, and he was going to release them in honor of his mother's death, but they're getting old and losing their air. Besides, he's got a special one tied off in the weeds. He might let that one go instead. His mother's been dead and it's burgundy. And just down the street, Cherry Jubilee, named after the ice cream. She does not believe things are as bad as they appear to be. Front door wide open, butt naked, going crazy. Out from underneath my couch real fast and ran so fast I could almost fly.
and it just so happened to run right near me. At the same time, I stomped it, and I went to go get a paper towel to clean it up. Wasn't very good. I got sidetracked when the phone rang or something. We're talking to someone outside, and when I came back in, that female dad was surrounded by at least 50 men. Kill one, they all came out to see the queen. Kill one, and others will come out to investigate and spray all of them. One will come out to investigate and spray all of them. But I called up the pest control, and they said if 60 of them came out when she died, that means there's 70,000 of them spread out around your house. You compare the population with they can guesstimate the population by the number that comes out to something her death. Acknowledge her death, the queen. Everyone that comes out to mourn her death, there's 1,000 others. You add them all up, and then you add 1,000 on top of that. Kill it, leave it, and wait, and count. Went to a funeral, helped clean up a young woman who was there, and started with her hands in jewelry. With some old nasty women with bed bugs passing old nasty furniture back and forth. Nasty. Somebody died, and it was like a 24-hour drive through wake. I had a job consulting and consoling $57. Supernatural objects, and I didn't like my psychic abilities, but they were in demand, and I wanted to make money at real estate. But every time I went to see some property or other people's property, they'd want to know all about the psychic powers that box had inside. Underneath the park semi-truck was an udder, and stuffed inside that single udder was a disco ball. She said the child would only respect women, and she would teach the child to only say good things about women and not say anything bad about women that the child respects. But does the child even have respect for women? Listen, I'm gonna take you around through here and show you where a bunch of bugs came through about 1,000,000 years ago. I got that hyperscan collection with bugs in a cup.
The Tri-City building infested with bed bugs is now the target of a massive cleanup effort. After living side by side with bed bugs for the last 18 months, maybe longer, the 137 people who live in the John Sevier building in Johnson City may soon get some relief. News Channel 11's Nate Morbido is live from our continuous news desk in Johnson City. Nate?
Well, Sarah, M&M Properties, the company that manages the historic John Sevier building, hired Terminex to address this problem. In the coming weeks, Terminex will inspect every room in the building before starting a treatment program there. For those who don't know, bed bugs are small insects that survive off human blood. Although experts say the pests don't cause much of a health risk, the small bites they leave behind are a nuisance. And they've been a nuisance here in this 11-story building for at least the last year and a half. Many tenants say they've been a problem for even longer. And when you're at the mercy of these pests, getting a good night's sleep is never easy.
Right, I just thought sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. I didn't realize it meant for you to like dress in layers and tuck your layers into socks and everything like that, and wear ski gloves and tuck your sleeves into your gloves and pull your hood up and sleep with all of the lights on.
Today, Terminex, along with M&M Properties, held a training session for tenants and volunteers, an effort to prepare for the upcoming extermination. The plan, starting no later than next month, exterminators will go into every room, freeze all of the bugs and their eggs, and then treat each apartment with insecticide dust. After the initial effort, M&M Properties will need to come up with a plan so that the bugs don't come back. Reporting live from our continuous news desk in Johnson City, Nate Morbido, News Channel 11.
Have you ever lived in a building infested with bed bugs? You know the saying, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. The truth is, once you've got them, you have no dust and scrub, clean and spray, constantly on the lookout for others, and vacuum every inanimate object 9 times a day to try to get the eggs. Face it, your life has changed. The paranoia sets in. Every speck of dirt, every poppy seed, every piece of lint, every flake of pizza crust, every single little crumb becomes one of them, and you've got to get down on your hands and knees to check. So by the time you've successfully identified one, you are so close to it that once your eyes adjust, you can even see the hair on their legs. The little ones seem to glide with short bursts of energy, hydroplaning across the surfaces of everything, and even when they are really close to your face, they move so fast and hurried that all you can see is something small and blurry, and once they think that they've been spotted, they stop dead in their tracks. But make no mistake, they will not run from you. They are not afraid of you. They can in fact sense you. You are their prey. You are their food. So you can just pick them up and flush them or do whatever you want with them. You can get traps, but they won't stick to the traps unless you've got them real bad, or pick them off of you and drop them on the glue. You can't stay in the burning shower forever. The hot water will run out. The hot water always runs out. Avoid communal places. No more using the laundry room. It will become completely overrun, bombed 3 times a week with the bed bugs thriving strong. And become aware of all of your neighbors. Start looking at their skin. Look for gelatinous potholes and swollen pyramids, bumps that turn from cherry to raspberry jello overnight, like chicken pox, shingles, scabies, or rashes of any kind. And don't mingle, walk or stand next to anyone that's blind. They always have them the worst. They can't inspect their mattress. It's impossible for them to manage. They can't see their own scratches, so they can't rate the damage. Open sores all over and not a single bandage. When you are blind, your other senses are amplified. And because the area of the bite is numb, they can only hear the sucking and not know where it's coming from. It's even more exasperating and maddening for them, but don't get next to them. I caught 2 bed bugs alive, a big one and a little one, sneaking under the front door on my kitchen floor with my flashlight, coming for me, crawling towards me at 3 a.m. one night. I smeared them on a page in my sketchbook. The big one popped and left a streak of blood under my index finger, twice as wide as the broadside of a Marks-a-Lot magic marker. It startled me that there was so much blood, and for a split second I thought I'd been cut. When the little one popped, it splattered, a puddle of somebody else's blood, blood from one of my neighbors. I quit taking my anti-anxiety medication to sustain the energy, to clean, and to make use of the mania. And for every one that I was finding, 68 of them were hiding, so I bought a queen-size Ziploc bag for my mattress and box spring, sprayed it, soaked it, and zipped it. 2 baby bed bugs found a hole in a seam, and then crawled out into the sunlight to die, on their backs, with their legs tucked in, and their needle mouths sticking out, following me around with them, taking their last breath, slowly aiming at me, like the gun barrels on tank turrets. I now walk funny, never letting my feet rest in the elevators and open hallways. I bring my knees up to my chest, or goose step, or move like I'm clogging, reluctantly with mild pep. Skipping with a lack of enthusiasm, I take the stairs. You dress for war and sleep in the same way. If you wrap yourself up with plastic entirely, you will suffocate. So put underwear on, put pant scrubs on, put socks on. Tuck the scrubs into your socks. Put thermal underwear bottoms on over the scrubs and the breather mask wet and yell into the phone for help, even if it's just for moral support. Now these layers of armor will make you sweat and itch. Try really, really hard not to think about it. Take comfort in knowing that you are sealed up really tight. But keep an eye on every seam. Bed bugs love the seams. Eventually, you yourself will become infested. The slightest itch makes you big like a meth head, afraid that they are on you everywhere you go, inside and outside of your body and clothes, scratching yourself feverishly with rulers and yardsticks. And unlike ticks in the yard and garden, you can't just get chickens to eat them in your apartment. You are helpless, leaving a trail of bed bugs like breadcrumbs wherever you go. Pour 7 dust in front of your door, under the couch cushions, beneath the box springs, all over the floor. Make a sacred circle with it around you, in the middle of your living room. Stay awake for 3 days straight, pray and fast and hallucinate that it is you and not them winning this arms race. As battalions of bed bugs send platoons across the line, whole squadrons of them floating, exoskeletons and brown hovercrafts advancing to their deaths 2 at a time. When you have to sleep, lay flat on your back on something white so you can see them advancing against a background that's bright, and make sure all of the lights are on. I can't stress this enough. Every light must stay on. Every light must always stay on. Your worst fears will turn to tears, then turn to dread, while laying restlessly in bed, with the thought that you will never have company again. You will never have guests again. You will never have sex again. You will never have friends again, until you move and put everything that ever meant anything to you in a dumpster. Take a shower somewhere else. Take new clothes out of their bags, cut off the tags, and force yourself to start all over. And this time, value your second chance at life. Many in my building have just given up the fight. And last night, one guy, LM, died, anemic, drained of all of his blood, poked and sucked to death, in a feeding frenzy on his bed. I tell myself, remember him, never forget him, and never stop moving.
Well, you've probably heard the saying, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. Well, people at the bed bug infested John Severe apartment building in Johnson City haven't been sleeping all that tight for at least the last year and a half. Soon their apartments will finally be bed bug free. At least that's the hope. News Channel 11's Nate Morabito joins us now with details. Nate?
Sarah, the 11-story John Severe building is a home to 137 tenants, including seniors and people with disabilities. Many of those people say bed bugs have been a problem inside the building for years now. Up until now, M&M Properties, the company that manages the building, hasn't fully eliminated the pests. But apparently that's about to change. I'll warn you, some of the video you may see may be a bit disturbing to sensitive viewers.
Vampires are real. That's what I'll say. Vampires are real. They've evolved over the years into tiny, tick-sized little bugs.
And those little bed bugs have wreaked havoc on the historic John Severe building, sucking the blood of its tenants.
They more cause itchy. They get on your body and they itch.
Levon Brooks knows the pests aren't much of a health risk, but they are a nuisance. In fact, he rarely gets a good night's rest.
You can't sleep, you sleep at night and then you wake up, they crawl and I just crush them out with my hands. They crawl over the bed.
Come November, these horror stories should be a thing of the past. M&M Properties recently hired Terminex to address this problem, nearly 2 years too late in Brenda Springer's eyes.
The reason they've taken over the building is because they denied their existence.
Why did it take this long to get addressed?
Well, we addressed it, okay, back when we initially knew of the problem.
General Manager Harry Gibson says management made an effort to eliminate the bugs, but
here we thought we had it under control, and about a month or so ago, it reoccurred.
So they're now turning to the experts.
They're starting Operation Bug Out.
It is a problem that we absolutely need to take care of.
Today, Terminex held a training session for tenants and volunteers to prepare for the upcoming extermination. In the coming weeks, Terminex will go into every room, freeze all of the bugs and their eggs, and then treat each apartment with insecticide dust. Exterminators will start from the top of the building and make their way down, temporarily displacing people. Having failed her before, at least one tenant remains skeptical.
It's a Band-Aid on a deep puncture.
Now, despite those concerns, GM Harry Gibson tells me he is confident Terminex will eliminate the problem. That said, he admits tenants and John Sevier staff will have to come up with a plan to keep the bed bugs away. Sarah?
Kind of makes your skin crawl. Thanks, Nate. Well, I checked with my medical sources today. They say everyone's home can experience a bed bug problem. However, there are some simple tips that can help minimize your risk. First, use a professional exterminator regularly. After you return from a trip, check your luggage for insects that may have hitched a ride. Change your bed linens once a week and wash them in hot water, and vacuum around your home at least once a week.
One night, while sleeping tight, completely covered and wrapped under 5 quilts and a sleeping bag, like a mummy, I almost smothered and gave myself brain damage by accident. CO2, carbon dioxide poisoning, lack of oxygen. How could I tell? I woke up with a migraine headache from hell, neon red peripheral tunnel vision, hand flaps and muscle twitches, disorientation and flushed skin, loss of mobility in all of my limbs. I'm lucky I even woke up again.